Geez, I move in a few weeks and I just realized I have exactly 0 moving supplies.
First big move?
Uh-huh.
I've been there. Rented a truck, scrounged around for boxes, bribed people with pizza, still lost a chair, strained my back, and my friendships.
So, what you're telling me is maybe it's smart to hire a pro because I don't know what I'm doing.
That's actually why I used Mayflower. They walked me through everything. What to pack, what not to, when things would happen. It was weirdly calming. We had a move coordinator, real movers. They handled the heavy stuff, the timing, all of it.
That sounds very adult.
Trust me, Mayflower made my first big move exciting instead of terrifying.
Moving is a big step. Trust Mayflower to make it a confident one. Get a free move quote at mayflower.com. Mayflower, with you every step of the way.
Hi, welcome to Vanished Voices. We're your hosts. I'm Jenna.
And I'm Shannon.
There's a knock at the door. You look through the peephole. A man in a black jacket, heavy for the middle of August, is holding something up to the glass. A badge, maybe. He says he's with the FBI. He says your name like he already knows you. You don't open the door, you ask for ID. He doesn't have one or won't show it, and he leaves. You call the police. You call the FBI field office directly, just to be sure. And they tell you something you expected, but makes your stomach drop. No agent was sent. If they needed to talk to you, it wouldn't be one man alone at your door. 4 days pass, nothing happens, so you start to let your guard down. Then another knock. A man wearing a delivery uniform. He has a package he says he needs a signature for, but you didn't order anything. You call the carrier. They've not had a package out for delivery for you. 12 hours later, it's not even 8 in the morning. A third knock, another package, someone else at your door trying to get you to open it. You start finding cigarette butts on the ground outside your door in the evenings, like someone's been sitting there waiting. You tell your mom, you tell your best friend, both of them ask you to stay somewhere else for a few nights, just until whatever this is blows over. You tell them no, you're not scared in your own home. But 5 hours after that third knock, the unthinkable happens. This is the story of Kanika Powell. Kanika was born on January 31st, 1980, to her mother, Judy. Judy picked the name herself. She'd gone looking for something with African roots. She wanted something unique. She landed on Kanika. It translates to black cloth. At first, Judy wasn't entirely sure about it until she realized black cloth isn't just fabric. In a lot of traditions, it's sacred. Something set apart. Something special. She said that's exactly who her daughter turned out to be. Kanika grew up in Prince George's County, which in 2008, when the story takes place, had a population of 850,000. This county held the title of being the wealthiest Black majority county for decades. Really, until just recently. Now the county holding that title is just minutes away from Prince George's County, which goes by PG. This is a nice area. Around 8th or 9th grade, a girl named Ayana moved in across the street. Her and Kanika hit it off almost immediately. 2 kids constantly in and out of each other's houses, to the point where Ayana's parents started calling Kanika their second daughter. And that friendship lasted the rest of Kanika's life. 15 years by the time we get to 2008. By most accounts, Kanika was the friend who told you the truth, even when you didn't want to hear it.
I like those people.
I do too. We all need a few of those in our life, I think. She was upfront, a little goofy, always up for a good time, but someone that people leaned on. Her mother remembers her as feisty, opinionated, and most importantly, impossible not to like. After high school, Kanika worked for a bit, then joined the Army in her early 20s. She spent her final year of service stationed in Korea. And this was before cell phones were something everyone carried. So she and her mother wrote actual letters back and forth. And of course, Judy still has every one of them. In 2004, Kanika left the military and came home to PG. Not long after, she landed a contract position as a security specialist with the Applied Physics Laboratory at Johns Hopkins University in Laurel, Maryland.
Her job alone, I'm like, I'm impressed.
I know, right? At the time, that lab was running hundreds of projects tied to national defense and homeland security. It was her first real office job, and it required a top secret security clearance. She was proud of it. She told her mother she might end up handling classified material, and she did have to travel occasionally to drop off or pick up documents, but she was tight-lipped about the actual work. Ayanna said Kanika almost never talked about her job in any detail. She compared it to how people who work for the FBI can't really discuss what they do. That secrecy is going to matter later because in the days after Kanika's death, it became one of the first places pretty much everyone's mind went. Kanika was also, by every account, a homebody. She worked, she came home, she paid her bills, she saw her close circle of friends. Ayanna's word for it was, quote, the typical lifestyle the average American leads. Kanika wasn't reckless, and she wasn't the type to make enemies. She was also quietly in the process of falling for someone. Kanika was bisexual. She didn't broadcast it, but she didn't hide it either. And by the summer of 2008, she'd started seeing a woman. The two of them were planning a trip together down to Atlanta for the city's Pride Festival in the end of August. It was supposed to be just this fun weekend away for the two of them. Friday, August 22nd, Kanika is out with her friend group. They're celebrating Ayanna's birthday. At some point in the night, she pulls Ayanna and another friend aside. She says she has something to tell them, something she wants or needs to talk through, but not tonight. Tomorrow, she says, Saturday. And unfortunately, that conversation never happens. On Saturday, August 23rd, around 7 in the evening, there's a knock at Kanika's door. This is the first one that we mentioned at the beginning of the episode. So she looks through the peephole. She sees a man she doesn't recognize. She describes him as black, wearing a black hat, black glasses, and a black North Face jacket, despite it being the middle of a Maryland summer, which is warm. I mean, that day their high was 83, but really high humidity. Like, it was warm.
Yeah, you're not going to be wearing all that in the middle of summer.
And the sun was even still up. As she looks closer through the peephole, she asks who's at the door before opening, which, good job. I like that a lot, especially in 2008. I think that wasn't as well known before now. She gets no answer. She looks closer.
I mean, I'm assuming because of her job and her history in the military, she knows.
She knows.
Yeah.
She's smart. She asks again, who is he? He tells her he's with the FBI, and then he says he's looking for Kanika Powell. So he says her full name. He holds something up to the peephole that looks like a badge. That's not enough for her to open the door, though. She asks for ID, and he either can't or won't produce one. He has no photo identification. She asks for a warrant. If you're here from the FBI and you need to talk to me, show me the paperwork. He has nothing to show her. So she flat out refuses to open the door, and he leaves. From her window, she watches him walk towards the rental office, which her apartment, the balcony of it, you could see the rental office from there. And that's also like at the front of the entrance to this apartment complex. So there's only one way in and one way out. And she can see that from her balcony and from the windows. As she's watching him walk towards this office, she can tell he's holding like a folder or an envelope.
Which would make me think maybe he's leaving it now at the office.
Right, but he doesn't go in.
Oh.
Next, she sees a red car pull away from the complex. She can't say for certain that he got in it or it's connected to him, but she feels like the timing was perfectly timed for that to be the car he's getting in. Now, just because he left, she doesn't let it go. She calls the local FBI field office directly and asks point blank if an agent had been sent to see her. And the answer is no. And more than that, they tell her that if the Bureau ever did need to speak with her, it would never be a single agent showing up alone. It would be 2, maybe 3. And finally, if an agent went to someone's home, they would show her the ID. They also say that if she didn't answer, they would leave a card with contact information, which didn't happen. Mm-hmm.
I mean, and interesting that there would be 2 of them. Like, that's good to know as well.
I thought all of that was really important to know.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and that actually makes sense.
For sure.
For everyone's safety, including theirs.
Agreed, right? Because you don't know what you're going into all the time.
Well, that and just from a corroboration of...
Right, how things went
sides,
down. Yeah, for sure. Next up, she calls the police. Officers check the area. They find nothing. They do promise to step up patrols. She also calls her rental office and gives them a heads up too. And then she does something that ends up mattering a great deal to this investigation. She writes an email. Shannon, do you want to read it for us?
Subject: weekend. I just wanted to share with you the most scariest thing that happened to me this weekend. Saturday evening around 7 p.m., a man was knocking at my door. As you all may know, I live alone. I asked who it was, and he didn't answer. So once I got close to the door and looked out of the peephole, I saw a male figure that was not familiar to me at all. I asked who he was, and all he stated was that he was from the FBI and he was looking for Kanika Powell. It freaked me out completely because this man knew my name. He held up a shield, but no picture ID, and he never gave his name. He told me he was looking for me in regards to an investigation. I said that I had no idea as to what he was talking about and that he would need to show me documentation as well as a warrant of some sort. So he left. I looked at my bedroom window and saw him walking. I also heard a voice tell him to walk in the opposite direction. The whole situation was scary and seemed so false. So because of this incident, not only did I get no sleep for the rest of the weekend, I'm trying to get an alarm system installed in my apartment. I had one in my old apartment. I just hadn't had it transferred over to my new one. As far as everything that happened with the guy, I did call the FBI. They told me it was more than likely bogus because they never come to your door by themselves and they always leave a card of some sort so that you can contact them. I called the local police as well to give them a description just in case someone is out there trying to rape or harm single women. Pass this on, ladies. This is not a fake forward. This happened to me, Kanika, who knows who these guys are and what they're doing in what areas other than mine. Kanika T. Powell, Special Security.
Kanika sent that email to friends and her family, laying out exactly what happened and, warning other women in her life they should be careful how to handle the situation and that they should always know who's knocking on their doors. Both Kanika's mom and Ayana tried to talk her into staying somewhere else for a few days. She tells them she'll be fine. She's already planning to get that alarm system. She spent years in the military. She says she's not scared. She says she's not about to be scared out of her own apartment. And 4 days go by. Nothing happens. Maybe it starts to feel like it's over. Then on Wednesday, August 27th, in the evening, there's another knock. This time, it's a man claiming to be from FedEx. He tells her he has a package that needs a signature. She tells him to leave it at the door. He says he can't. She has to sign for it. She tells him she hasn't ordered anything and she's not opening the door. And I love that she keeps calling to follow up on these.
Yeah.
Like, she's doing all the things. She calls the shipping company herself. They have no record of any delivery scheduled for her address. Now, across the street, not in the same apartment complex, but the one across the street, Kanika's cousin happens to be arriving home right around this time and actually gets a look at the man. They describe him as tall, around 6 feet, black with facial hair, wearing a FedEx shirt, they say with the sleeves cut off, Dickies-style shorts, white socks and tan Timberland boots.
It's not a FedEx outfit.
No, it feels like a Halloween costume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, right away with the sleeves cut off, like there's no way.
No, they have like very strict rules on that, I thought.
Well, they have uniforms, so
You're right. You can't just alter them.
no.
Crucially, the cousin said there was no FedEx truck anywhere nearby. No vehicle at all. As far as the cousin can tell, he simply turns and walks away.
Okay, now that's weird.
So creepy. So scary.
I mean, and smart, because now you have clearly a fake FBI person. And then we all know, I mean, FedEx will leave packages, but a lot of times that's who you use when you need a signature.
Right? They're not going to
So-
leave like something
Because I've been surprised
expensive.
by, I mean, I know there's things I've ordered, but then sometimes I'm actually surprised, like, oh, I really have to be home because it's going to need a signature. So, but
Mhm.
again, I kind of have that figured out because FedEx like sends me alerts. But of course, back then, I don't know. I definitely didn't have that type of, I wasn't getting alerts from FedEx.
No, not back in 2008.
Yeah, but that's creepy.
Yeah. It's also creepy that the descriptions are very similar,
Yeah.
but the detective on this case said he doesn't know if it was the same person or two different people. And it doesn't seem like Kanika explained that. Like if
Yeah.
she said it was for sure the same person,
Yeah.
or if she said it was for sure two different people.
Mm.
And it is hard when you're looking through a peephole,
Oh, yeah.
especially if their head is down.
Right.
You might
Well,
not
and-
be able to tell.
Yeah. FBI would, but I mean, FedEx could potentially also be wearing a hat. So
Totally.
that would help obscure.
Yep. Now, around this same stretch of days, Kanika starts noticing something else. She keeps finding cigarette butts on the ground outside her apartment door in the evenings. Like someone's been sitting there and waiting. She tells Ayana it feels like someone's watching her apartment, watching the place. She doesn't know who she could have possibly upset badly enough to cause this. The next day, so that was Wednesday when the first FedEx driver came. On Thursday morning around 7:30, barely light out, there's a third knock, another man, another claim of a package to deliver. Kanika will later ask her mom, half joking, half unsettled, who delivers a package at 7:30 in the morning?
Amazon?
Yeah, always Amazon, but they don't need a signature.
No.
After this, she decides not to go into work. So she has that trip that we mentioned planned to Atlanta for the next day, and her car needs serviced before the long drive south. Now, rather than risk being out after dark, she decides she's going to go get it done now in the morning, broad daylight, and be back home safe. So she does that. She also runs a couple other errands that haven't ever been documented or put out. Around 11:50 that morning, she comes home. Someone is waiting for her in the hallway of her apartment building.
What would you do if your online store converted 36% more shoppers? You could take 36% more vacation,
Another pina colada? Yes, please.
open a new retail location with 36% more square feet,
Fantastic.
hire 36% more help.
You're hired and you're hired.
Shopify has the world's best converting checkout, up to 36% better than other e-commerce platforms. What you do with those extra sales is up to you. Switch to Shopify today at shopify.com/listen and get a $1 trial. Shopify.com/listen.
Geez, I move in a few weeks and I just realized I have exactly 0 moving supplies.
First big move?
Uh-huh.
I've been there. Rented a truck, scrounged around for boxes, bribed people with pizza, still lost a chair, strained my back, and my friendships.
So what you're telling me is maybe it's smart to hire a pro because I don't know what I'm doing.
That's actually why I used Mayflower. They walked me through everything. What to pack, what not to, when things would happen. It was weirdly calming. We had a move coordinator, real movers. They handled the heavy stuff, the timing, all of it.
That sounds very adult.
Trust me, Mayflower made my first big move exciting instead of terrifying.
Moving is a big step. Trust Mayflower to make it a confident one. Get a free move quote at mayflower.com. Mayflower, with you every step of the way.
Neighbors will later tell police they heard her voice first, clear and afraid, saying no, no, no. Then 4 or 5 gunshots, one right after another. A neighbor opens his door right away. He can smell gunpowder still hanging in the air. He was on a different level, and he looks over the balcony and sees her on the floor below, and he goes and calls 911. Police and paramedics arrived to find Kanika alive, but only barely. She was shot multiple times in the upper body and head. Her purse is still on her. Her car keys are still on her. Nothing has been taken. This was not a robbery. She's rushed to Prince George's Hospital, and doctors aren't even able to operate. The priority is simply trying to stop the bleeding. Her mother sits with her through the night, and the next day, Friday, August 29th, 2008, one day after that third knock on her door, Kanika Powell dies. She's only 28 years old. The detective who caught this case in 2008 was Sergeant Gregory McDonald, a PG County homicide detective at the time, and he's still on it. Today, he supervises the department's cold case squad.
Different.
Yeah, right? Usually it's like detective after detective.
But I guess if he's moved on to cold case, that makes sense.
Right. Got to work the original one and take it with him.
Oh, and it's his white whale.
It is. Yep. Kanika's file, he says, is one that he's personally continued to carry all these years later.
I mean, I'm kind of at a loss for words. Like, this is so compelling and shocking, and I'm already like, what, how, and who, and why, and I'm like just kind of shocked.
The fact that they were standing outside her apartment door,
waiting,
known
in broad daylight.
So they had to know she didn't go to work.
Right.
Because she wouldn't be coming home then. And you're standing there risking other people seeing you.
Right. So who would know? I mean, somebody from work.
Possibly.
Yeah. It's just so.
It's like very much a small circle of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to think, okay, what's new in her life? So the girl. And I'm like, okay, is the girl also bi? So there's probably a former male in the circle that is now unhappy that she's switching to the lady pond instead of staying in the boy pond.
Yeah, that is spot on for one of the strongest theories in this case.
Okay.
Exactly what you just said. I'm very impressed.
The only thing I can come up with.
Yeah, but you got there real fast.
Yeah.
Like, very impressive. We'll definitely talk about her more.
Okay.
When investigators processed the scene, the first thing that struck them was the neighborhood itself. Deerfield Run was not a high crime property.
Yeah.
It's the kind of place where police weren't dealing with any kind of regular incidents, especially violent ones. And that mattered because it told them something important right away. Whoever did this hadn't wandered in looking for any random target. Kanika was chosen deliberately.
Well, and nothing was taken.
I mean,
that says that right there also.
Exactly. Now, the lack of eyewitnesses made this brutally hard from day one. No one saw the shooter arrive, and no one saw him leave. The only people who could tell police anything were the neighbors who heard it happen through their walls and their doors.
Well, and I bet, again, you're not in a high crime area. They probably weren't even sure what they were actually hearing at first.
Oh, absolutely.
So, because you're doing the whole, is that fireworks? Like, who would be having fireworks in the middle of the day? And then you look out and go, oh.
Exactly.
So, I mean, yeah, this is going to be tough.
So tough. They pulled ballistic evidence from the scene. And in all the years since, that evidence has been checked against every handgun recovered anywhere in the county. And then further out, it's been checked nationally too. To this day, there has never been a match. The weapon that killed Kanika has never turned up.
So it's been gotten rid of very well.
Yeah. In a river or an ocean or something.
Buried in the dirt.
Yep. One of the hardest questions investigators couldn't answer was whether the 3 men who had shown up at her door in the days before, the fake FBI agent or our fake delivery men, were all the same person wearing different outfits, or if it was 2 separate people working together. Nothing in the physical descriptions.
I feel like again, I'm going with her training. I feel like if they had been the same person, it feels like it should be, but I feel like she would have noticed that.
I do too. There would have been some conversation of like, this man showed up pretending to be an FBI agent. Then he came back 4 days later.
Right. And now he's saying he's FedEx.
Yeah. Which I do think that makes it seem like there are 2.
Yeah. Which again is even more odd.
Yeah.
Because now you come to her shooting and just the chain of events. You have these very weird happenings, but because now you have to assume that the 2 people, if she had opened the door, would have just shot her then.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like you would have known if it was the same person.
I do too. I think she would have clocked that. Even if she couldn't really tell if they were the same person, if they were similar enough,
Yeah.
I feel like she would have said that.
Right. Right.
Now, remember when that FBI agent guy was leaving?
Mm-hmm. The envelope.
Mm-hmm. They heard someone say, like, go the other direction.
Yeah.
Part of me wonders if that was the other guy.
Oh, yeah.
And drove him away in
Driving
the red car.
the getaway car.
And now it's like, well, she already saw me. You have to go back and let's do FedEx or something.
Oh, that's a great point.
Thanks. I wish I knew for sure.
I know. But that plays out a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
But again, now you have 2 people who are in on it and clearly willing to kill.
Right. If you have 2 people that commit the same crime, it seems like a lot more often is when you find out more.
Yeah.
But I guess if they're going this distance,
I don't know.
and I could see both FedEx people being the same guy.
Oh, yeah.
That makes sense. Like we get the same FedEx driver with
Yeah.
packages.
Same.
Yeah. So I don't know necessarily that there were 3 different people, but
At least 2.
I do feel like they were different. I wish we knew for sure. But yeah, I can't see how she wouldn't.
Or,
say that.
yeah, because really you could say the first 2 times were really just trying to ensure she was home. And they weren't. And then this whoever really was going to be the shooter, either like FedEx dude was really going to be the shooter. FBI was just to confirm she was home. And that's her address.
Yes, that's what I was going to.
Yeah. And then FedEx was really the shooter. So he was ready to do it then. And then now the actual shooter is probably, I would say, FedEx guy.
And I would say people in an apartment building, like if you're walking from door to door and you're holding a couple things, no one's really going to notice that you're there.
No.
Especially at 11:30 on a Thursday.
Yeah, back
That's
in 08,
normal.
everyone's at work.
Yeah.
Mostly. So you're not really going to notice. And, that's before Ring cameras. You don't really, you don't know.
Right. And that's unfortunate too, because it would have been nice to see this person.
Yeah, I don't know, I'm envisioning apartments that are outside. So
Mhm.
was there a hallway? I mean, because now I'm thinking, but this is back east. So was there actually a hallway that you had to enter? It's like a door, or was it just open air where your door was literally still to the outside?
Let me show you. These pictures that I have, you can see them. We will link to them on our blog, and we linked that always in the show notes. So it looks like they're inside.
Okay.
This is the outside of it. That's her balcony. So it seems like the balconies face outside.
Yeah. So you would be going in
So that
so here it is. So you'd go into doors
that's her
to
door.
then get to a door.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, inside. I was envisioning open air like Arizona. And no, it's not. It's going to protect from the elements.
Right. This is the in and out to the apartment complex. And the rental office is up here. And her apartment looks over at that.
Mm-hmm.
You can see it.
Mm-hmm. Even then, it's not like a quick getaway.
No. And, she was a lot closer to the entrance
but
and
still,
exit.
that's a very narrow,
Mhm.
and it's not like it's a big, wide drive in, drive out to then get to the street.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, one car each way
Yeah.
and only one entrance and exit.
But yeah, what, 2008? Maybe cameras in that area, like on the streets, but
Yeah, I could even
probably nothing
see
else.
like having them around, say, the rental
or even the rental office.
office.
Yeah.
I didn't read that anywhere, but that could also be that they're not releasing it
Yeah.
or it didn't pick it up. So the question that everyone outside the investigation kept circling back to was her job. So like we mentioned, Kanika held top secret clearance. She worked at a lab running defense and homeland security projects. And we know the first man who ever showed up at her door claimed to be with the FBI. When you put all of those pieces next to each other, it's easy to see why so much of the early speculation, including from local media, assumed that her death had to somehow be connected to her work. They speculated that maybe she'd stumbled onto something. Maybe she knew something she shouldn't have. And investigators didn't ignore this angle. They looked hard at it and they came up with nothing. No evidence at any point tying her employment to her murder. So investigators turned to the only other place a targeted killing like this usually points, her personal life. And by every account gathered, Kanika didn't fit the profile of someone with a bunch of enemies. They couldn't find that she was involved in anything illegal. She wasn't caught up in any conflict that anyone could point to. She just kept this small, steady circle of friends and family, went to work, came home. Detectives described her as living about as ordinary a life as it's possible to live, which I think is one of the scariest sentences.
Yeah.
Like, that's terrifying.
Like, imagine here, you see how people are viewed and judged when they do have a colorful life. Yet here it's but that almost gives you leads to run down versus here's someone that isn't doing that. And they're like, we have nothing.
We have absolutely nothing to go on.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. And that's, exactly it. Between not having any of those conflicts or people in her life, and then we have basically no physical evidence pointing to a suspect.
Well, okay, so I just have to ask, did they interview the girl she was scheduled to go on the trip with the next day?
It says that they did.
Okay.
I haven't even been able to find her name anywhere.
I mean,
or
understandable.
any details.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I get her name isn't published because, again, she may have literally nothing to do with anything. But she's the only new addition to her life.
That's exactly it. It's the only difference, change,
Right.
anything.
And I mean, how long had they been talking? Because I'm like, to go on a trip pretty quickly, I mean, that is pretty telling as well.
Yeah. From everything that I read, it seems like they just said it started that summer and we're to the end of August. So you could say
So it's new.
2 months, 3 months or
Yeah.
new. Yeah. And
2-3 months is still new.
It
But
is.
I
for
mean, I
sure.
get that. We're at this point now. Let's go take a weekend or trip. Because that, again, they always say, if you travel with somebody, that lets you know if they're going to continue to be compatible. So that, maybe they were already at that stage.
Right. And it's a
not
road
surprising.
trip. So
Right.
you can talk in the car, hang out in
Oh, yeah.
Atlanta, drive right back.
Yeah. What is it, Atlanta, like 2 hours away?
No, it's 11, it said.
Really?
That's what it said. Because you have to go through North Carolina, South Carolina.
I swear you always, like on Real Housewives of Potomac, I swear they're like, oh, we're just jetting down to Atlanta because it's only a few hours away.
Do they mean flying?
Probably.
They must mean flying.
Yeah.
Yeah. The actual drive time I found was 11, which I was like, oh,
Wow.
I
Just
don't
for the
love
weekend?
those.
Like, that you're barely even spending any time in Atlanta then.
Yeah. But they were leaving on Friday. I would think they were probably coming home on Monday.
Probably.
So 2 days. But yeah, fast.
Yeah.
The other thing is no motive, nothing that they found anywhere from anybody they talked to, from her job from going through phone or email or anything like that. No motive, which doesn't help you chase down leads when you have no idea why this even happened. As of the most recent update on record, Sergeant McDonald said pretty bluntly, there's no person of interest in Kanika Powell's murder. Not then and not now. So let's talk about that girlfriend and that theory. This is the one I think also makes the most sense. Not every theory holds equal weight, so we'll talk about this one first. And also, this is the one that Kanika's mom and her best friend keep coming back to, really independently of each other all of these years later. So we know that that summer she had started spending time with a new group of friends outside of her usual circle because she was dating this new woman, and this new woman came with her own circle of friends.
Had her friends met the girl?
They had, but very briefly.
Okay.
Ayana says that she felt like she never really got to know these people.
Mm-hmm.
She said that when Kanika had started dating this new woman, it had been quiet. Like, it was...
Yeah, like, let's just see how this is going to play out.
Exactly. This woman...
Especially if both of them were new to dating same sex. I can see them going a little bit slower.
Yeah. Yes. And it sounds like this woman was as well, because she had this ex-boyfriend
Yeah.
who was still in this friend group.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's getting messy right away.
Yes. And like I mentioned, Kanika's friends had interacted with this other group of friends, and they described this ex-boyfriend afterwards as giving off an unfriendly, uneasy energy.
Yeah.
But it is worth noting, none of them had actually spent a lot of time around him.
I don't think you need to. I think first impressions say a lot.
Yeah. And that gut reaction, that also says something. There's another detail that stuck with Kanika's mom this whole time.
Geez, I move in a few weeks and I just realized I have exactly 0 moving supplies.
First big move?
Uh-huh.
I've been there. Rented a truck, scrounged around for boxes, bribed people with pizza, still lost a chair, strained my back, and my friendships.
So, what you're telling me is maybe it's smart to hire a pro because I don't know what I'm doing.
That's actually why I used Mayflower. They walked me through everything. What to pack, what not to, when things would happen. It was weirdly calming. We had a move coordinator, real movers. They handled the heavy stuff, the timing, all of it.
That sounds very adult.
Trust me, Mayflower made my first big move exciting instead of terrifying.
Moving is a big step. Trust Mayflower to make it a confident one. Get a free move quote at mayflower.com. Mayflower, with you every step of the way.
Whoever attacked Kanika seemed to know exactly when she was alone and exactly when she'd be home. That Thursday morning, she was planning to go to work that day.
Right.
Right after she changes her plans and decides to run errands and get her car fixed, that person shows up and is waiting for her when she gets back home. And, her mom, Judy, is saying, really, I could see her telling this new girlfriend,
Yeah.
I'm going to get this car done so that we're good to leave first thing in the morning tomorrow, run a couple errands, then head home. So I'm home the rest of the day.
Yeah. That makes me wonder if the new girl was still dealing with the ex.
Mm-hmm.
And, because that's, again, a very quick turnaround to know that she's not going to work and is going to be coming home and to be laying in wait.
Yeah.
That, it almost makes me feel like the girl then either is telling the ex-boyfriend that this is what I'm doing, and I don't know. I can just see somehow that information getting passed on.
Yeah.
And that's why. Because that's just, again, other than who else knew she called out of work except work?
Right.
And they've already figured out that's not a connection.
Yeah. There is that possibility that this new girlfriend maybe had a child with the ex-boyfriend to where, and I'm
Oh, so
purely,
she's made, yeah. Then,
but
yeah, hey, I need you to watch our child this weekend because I'm going to Atlanta.
yeah. And somebody that's smart and is asking questions like, well, is the car safe to go in? Do you need to take our car? No, I don't need to take our car because she's going to get her service. So we're
Yeah.
good to go. You know, completely, you wouldn't really think about those questions as
No,
being wrong or
no,
anything
it
like
sounds
that.
very caring and
Exactly.
concerned.
Right. So I don't know because, again, they've never released her name or the boyfriend, anything
Mhm.
like that. But there is also one other detail. After Kanika died, none of her new friend group showed up. The girlfriend didn't show up to the hospital or the funeral, none of the friends to the funeral. And, you know, there's a lot of reasons for that. It could have been she's uncomfortable with those, or she didn't feel like she knew any of Kanika's family, or there are a lot of reasons.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think if I had been, I don't know, if I'd newly been dating somebody and then they passed away, would I go to the funeral? I think I would. I've gone to people's funerals that I didn't even know,
Mhm.
but because I knew the person who did know them and
Yeah.
I was there going to support them.
Right.
So, I mean, but that's just me. I have to say that, yeah, even if I probably still would have went, even if I'd only known them for a few months, especially if I had been in a friendship slash romantic relationship. If you made it to the 3-month mark, you're clearly means something. So yeah,
Right.
I still think I would have gone. So I do think that is kind of weird. And again, yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. People are going to wonder who you are, but it's just kind of like just out of respect.
Right. Pay your respects and
Even more so for the way she died. It's not like
right.
it was natural causes. I
Mhm.
mean, she was murdered.
Yeah.
I would feel just out of respect for the person I had been spending time with to
Right.
go and celebrate their life.
Mhm.
What little of it, I was a part of.
Right. Well, and I think her family and obviously Ayana felt the same as you do because they clocked that as very odd. They are the ones that flagged that detail. Police have never publicly confirmed how far they investigated this angle or whether anything came out of it. So it is the strongest theory held by the people who knew Kanika best, but as far as I can find, I haven't seen public comments on it. The next theory is the professional hit theory, which really is the one that has followed this case the longest and really has shown up in nearly every piece of coverage about it. It has that obvious pull, her job with top secret clearance, working for a lab tied to national security, and of course, the first person showing up dressed like a FBI agent.
I don't like that one because if you're wanting her access, you can't kill her. You need her for the information you're trying to obtain. So that you're going to work a different angle of blackmail or something where
Yeah.
she's kept alive. So I don't see that one being realistic at all.
I can't even figure out how that one makes the most sense to so many people.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you want somebody kept alive because if you're
Right.
trying to
What are
obtain
you
information,
getting?
yeah.
Like if she found out something she wasn't supposed
Well,
to.
or because I'm looking at she has access to information that the general public doesn't have access to. So what do I want from her? I want information.
Mhm. And that's the only thing. And you're like you
Like, and
said.
it's a lab. It's not like she's a field agent out there doing something that you can say, hey, you hurt my friend, so I'm going to hurt you. Like she worked in a lab.
Right.
Calm down.
It really doesn't make sense.
No,
And
I don't buy that one at all.
also, a lot of people that live in that area all work for this place. A lot of them have security clearance of some variety.
Yeah, very true.
Police did search.
I mean,
this
as they
theory.
should. That
Mhm.
one I think is just the easiest one to shut down.
Yeah. They have said there was no evidence her work had anything to do with her death. No leak, no leverage, no connection.
Right.
But I don't think you can read about this case without having that come up.
No, I think it's a valid point to look at and gently close.
Yes. Now, there was an active serial killer.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
lovely.
Yep. His name was Jason Thomas Scott. He was active in the county in 2008 and 2009. He was eventually convicted in the murders of 2 mother-daughter pairs, the Loftons and the DeWitts. He was sentenced to consecutive life terms. And oddly enough, he worked for UPS. He used the access that job gave him to identify and stalk victims in their homes. And even more weird, he and Kanika attended the same high school with a little bit of overlap. Not saying they knew each other, but
yeah, that's a little wild.
Yeah, on the surface, it all lines up almost too well. But he was using his job as UPS. He wasn't pretending to be FedEx when he was really with UPS. Police investigated Scott specifically in connection with Kanika's murder and ruled him out. They said his method didn't match. Also, more than that, he never committed a single one of his crimes in the northern part of the county, which is where her apartment was. They said it wasn't his territory. I don't think that he is an open possibility or even really should be a theory in her case. And the investigators that have looked into her case also feel the same.
Okay.
It is a weird thing, though.
Yeah.
Now, 2.5 months after Kanika's murder, on Thursday, November 13th in 2008, a 31-year-old man named Sean Green was shot 9 times by a masked attacker while he was stopped at a red light during rush hour. And this wasn't that far away from where Kanika lived. Also, like Kanika, Green held a top secret security clearance for his government job. He worked for BEA Systems as a contract tech support employee at the National Counterterrorism Center in Tysons Corner, Virginia. So completely different job, different place, but he still had that same clearance, which is why when I say a lot of people had that clearance in the area, it really is true.
Yeah. Was Sean Green black?
He was.
Okay.
In an article by the Washington Post, his supervisor said that Green kept classified information flowing and critical computer systems humming. And interestingly, when they asked Kanika's job, like a reporter, what she did, they wouldn't even give like a 1 sentence.
Yeah.
Now, this guy was self-described square, is what he called himself.
I mean, yeah.
Most
Most IT people are.
He also was described as being an incredible role model to his 8 nephews. And really everything about him points to not having any kind of gang ties, not having any kind of illegal activity.
I would say a similar life to hers, very ordinary and normal.
Mm-hmm.
That makes finding a motive probably difficult. So, I mean, I would say that's the similarity, is that you have 2 people who are very innocuous and both are overkilled, essentially.
Yeah.
How are you getting 9 times in broad daylight? Like what?
And his actually, because it was November, it was dark at the time.
Yeah.
But still, you're in rush hour traffic, surrounded by people.
Yeah, no one saw anything. That's kind of crazy. I mean, that makes me go down the path of thrill killer. But did they stop at 2? Is there more? Do we have more of these, again, very innocuous people being gunned down out of the blue?
Now that you say that, I would like to dig into that more, but I didn't find any more in the same area around the same time. And from everything I read, it seems like these are the only 2 that investigators have looked at that were this close in proximity and also close time-wise, only 2 months apart. And shot almost exactly, like you said, in an overkill manner during the day. Also, they were both young. They weren't married. They both lived alone, lived in the same county. I don't believe that the ballistics matched.
Okay.
But that doesn't really mean anything. Investigators did look for a connection between the two killings, and they've said they never found one. So they do consider it unrelated, but also his case has never been solved and they have no motive.
And they never found a weapon for him either?
Mm-mm. No. And to this day, 18 years later, both unsolved. It's kind of weird.
Very weird.
And like, I understand saying there's no connection, but when you don't know a motive or know who did it or know why.
I mean, that's where I come back to. I mean, other than, did he have any weird people trying to get into his house? I mean, I would say the similarity is just both black, both, again, innocuous people, and overkilled in essentially a public setting.
Yeah.
And no one saw anything. No one could give any, nothing. So again, that's where I'm like, oh, it's a thrill killer out there. But
interesting. I didn't read that as one of the similarities when I was trying to compare the two, but I also didn't specifically search for that.
Yeah, but then I go back to, she was clearly being stalked to some degree when you have fake people coming to your door and trying to obtain access to you. So that makes, I mean, that would be my only question. Did he also have that?
Did he know? I mean, they could have been following him home from work to work.
Or had been following him for...
Right. They knew the routine. They knew the best stoplight that he got stopped the longest at. You never know.
I mean, were there witnesses? Did somebody walk up to his car and do it, or was it from far away?
Yeah. So a man walked up to his car. He was wearing a mask. He had on a black jacket with the hood up, opened fire, pretty close range before anybody knew what was happening, and fled the scene. There were witnesses, but they didn't get a good look. All of the descriptions were really vague. Not a lot for investigators to go off of.
Huh.
Isn't that weird?
Yes. I mean, that makes me think of like movies where you have the person on the bike come up to the car and like assassinate and then drive away, like spy movies.
Right. That's literally almost what it sounds like. It's
very strange.
Very strange. All right. That really is all the theories in this case. So aside from like not having a motive or any suspects or people of interest, there aren't even a ton of theories to go off of. I mean, really, when we just walked through them, the only one that really jumps out is something with that new friend group, you know? A few years after Kanika's death, her mother, Judy, did something a lot of parents in her position never get the chance or the strength to do. She sat down and wrote about her daughter in her own words for Every Town for Gun Safety storytelling project, which is called Moments That Survive. It's a place where survivors and families of gun violence share their own stories in their own voice, not filtered through a detective's case notes or a journalist's summary. Judy described Kanika as simply a beautiful 28-year-old woman killed with a handgun in the hallway of her own apartment building. She wrote about what it means to be a mother who gets that call. Not just the shock of it, but the particular specific grief of gun violence. The fact that this didn't have to happen. That somewhere a decision was made, a trigger was pulled, and an entire life and everyone attached to it changed forever. And I think Judy's words carry something the case files can't, because they're not about theories or suspects or evidence. They're about absence. A mother who still, after all these years, doesn't have an answer for why. And a family that goes on carrying an empty seat at every gathering. And we'll link to that so you can read it. Kanika is one name in a much larger, much heavier count. Every year, thousands of families join the one that Judy belongs to. People who didn't choose this, who will spend the rest of their lives being, in quotes, after. Judy chose to use her voice to put Kanika's story next to the stories of other survivors, because silence doesn't bring anyone back, and it doesn't stop the next name from being added to that list either. Somewhere in Prince George's County, someone knows something. Kanika Powell warned the people around her in real time as it was happening. She called the police. She called the FBI. She emailed her friends and family, laying out exactly what was going on days before it ended her life. And she did everything right. She didn't answer the door each of those times. And yet she still didn't make it home safe. Her mother, Judy, said people don't keep things like this to themselves forever. Somebody out there knows who knocked on that door 3 times. Somebody knows who was waiting in that hallway on August 28th, 2008. Maybe it's a detail that felt too small to matter. Maybe it's something that someone's been sitting on because they didn't think anyone was still listening. But Sergeant McDonald and the whole cold case squad are still working this case right now today. There's a standing reward of up to $25,000 for information that leads to an arrest.
That's a decent amount.
It is. And it doesn't matter how small the detail feels or how long ago it happened. If you know something, anything, this is your moment. This is your call to say it. If you know anything, call the PG County Police Department at 301-352-1200. Or if you'd rather stay anonymous, call PG County Crime Solvers at 1-866-411-TIPS. And you can also submit a tip online, and we'll put all of that in the show notes.
This episode stuck with you? Share it. Send it to someone in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, the DMV. Post it, talk about it, keep her name moving, because cases like this don't get solved by silence. And they don't get solved without someone somewhere deciding it's finally time to talk. Thanks for joining us for this episode of Vanished Voices. Every listen helps carry these stories further and louder into the world. To read our blog, explore related resources, or view episode notes, head over to vanishedvoicespodcast.com. You'll also find us on social media, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, all under @VanishedVoicesPod. We'd love to connect and hear your thoughts. If you're moved by what we share, please rate and review the podcast and help us grow this community by spreading the word. You can stream Vanished Voices on all major platforms. And as always, refuse to let these voices vanish.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Moving comes with a lot of questions. What do you pack first? How do you move the fridge? Did you rent the right truck? That's why so many movers choose United Van Lines for their first big move. With experienced professionals handling packing, loading, and transport, you don't have to guess your way through moving day. Your belongings are protected, your move stays on track, there's no deposit required, all so you can focus on what's next. United Van Lines, America's #1 mover. Get a free quote at unitedvanlines.com today.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.